Okay. Hello, motherfuckers. So, let's take that last video. Let's just scratch it. Scrap it. I might end up deleting it. I might not. I don't know. I still haven't deleted it. I don't know what I'm going to do. That last video was a experiment and failed. Whatever. Okay, let's do an update. Fuck it. It is now the 28th. I haven't started therapy. It's getting pretty close, and I haven't even really looked into it. Started going to the gym though. That's pretty new, but that was not really a goal of mine until recently. I had a goal to start running again because I used to run, not a whole lot, but just to when I had things to mixes to listen to, or I just had an album in my playlist that needed to be fucking ran to, you know? Let's see. Band shit going along. I'm never good with things about music. It's always it's always me calling it band shit, or oh yeah, this little thing, this that little that, when they're really the thing where I'm you know what I'm saying? But it's not. But I try to play. I guess I try to subconsciously play it off nonchalantly, hoping that nobody's oh, and then ask questions about it. I almost said axed. I have a habit of saying that so much, and it always throws me off every time. Even though anyway, I hope you guys don't hear this AC, but it's getting fucking hot in here. I got a jacket on too, so that fucking. You know what? I'm taking this shit off. Oh god. Okay. What was it? Oh, yeah, we scheduled studio time, recording an old song that we've went to a studio before to do it, and it wasn't what we wanted, so we've always just kind of held it off. There's a whole album's worth of shit that I've been holding back for forever. Since there's songs from, I'm 22 now, right? There's songs from whenever I was 20 that are gonna be on it. There's songs from when I was 19 that were gonna be on it. There's a couple from when I was 18. There might be one from whenever I was 17. A lot of shit that we just never recorded because it had to be a live band, that kind of thing. And I didn't want to do it in my bedroom. That's now starting to roll. Because it's, like I said, the 28th of April, and I still haven't gone into looking into therapy, I need to get that done ASAP. It's funny, the amount of shit that has happened since the last video is almost in a way overwhelming and very underwhelming. Everything that has happened to me has been very money involved. Whether it's I'm not getting enough hours, even though I'm asking, it's not happening. Or there's been things I'm just going to pop in here real quick and save y'all 7 minutes. So basically, for some context, I came in here at this part in the video, and I went on a rant about 2 weeks after I got my new car. I went to an automatic car wash for the first time ever for my own car, and it fucked up the trim on my car, and they clean off, and the people there were yeah, no, it was like that. And I was oh yeah, okay, assholes, fuck you, you know. And it's going to cost $250 to fix. So, just to save you some time, I cut all that shit out because I went on a tangent. That's what happened. My car situation. That's not the only thing, but things like that, where it's oh, I need to be in the hole $100, $200, or whatever it is, just to, get something fixed. And there's also been struggles within my relationships, not romantic. I'm not talking romantic. Well, we know in the first one, but as far as my friendships and my relationships with people in general have been really shifting in a way that I'm not too keen on. And a lot of it is just people growing apart from each other, which is I'm having to learn to just let happen, which is good, I have learned that whenever things are trying to go away from me, I tend to cling because I feel like I've done something wrong, because then why would we be drifting apart if I didn't do something wrong, that sort of thing. Some of them have been warranted. I'm not saying I did some crazy fucked up shit, but some of them have been warranted, where it's like, hey, Levi, that pissed me off, or, this and that, or there needs to be some things like that. And some of them have been, not saying they weren't warranted, but they're just very, I'm not gonna, okay, if that's what's gonna set you away from me, then so be it. Whatever. If we get to a point where shit really hits the fan, I don't know how you would react to it. And that sounds like a, wow, you're a pussy kind of thing, but I don't mean it as that. I mean it as this is not a conflict, and I don't see this as a conflict. I just see this as maybe something that needs a more serious conversation, but isn't a big giant conflict. And the fact that we're drifting apart just from this one simple thing, whatever, But anyways, that's a random. This is gonna be really I can tell already. This shit is gonna be here, there. I've noticed that I haven't been able to write really when it comes to writing. In the past few months, I haven't really been able to. Just because this is such a transitional part of my life right now, and not even in a slight way, my living situation changed, my relationships in every form, my job, my car, my interests, identity, all these fucking things, right? Even slightly, just my basic interests, my hobbies, all of these things are starting to shift. It's so draining. It can be so draining. I've always just used all my free time to write. And I've been using all of my free time to do just about everything else. Which is good. They all needed to happen. But nonetheless, I wasn't able to write, and that was frustrating. And recently, I've been going back to songs, maybe like old unfinished ones or newer unfinished ones, messing with them a bit, or I've been doing a lot more of mixing, that kind of thing. But just last week, I made a little demo of a new song, of a new song I'm working on, and I kind of finished it. I kind of got just a basic skeleton of it. The way I tend to write is very, very slow. There's very few times where it's like that. If it's like that, it tends to be just me on a guitar. But anything that is in the box or in my computer is very, very slow. And usually is an instrumental first, and then I put in words and all that after. Anyways, I did this basic skeleton of it, and it had this very different feeling. I was I don't know how I would play this live. I don't know how I'm gonna approach I knew what the feeling was, but I didn't know what it was. And then yesterday, this is after a week of not touching it, finally went back to it, and then I just kind of, bam, just in, I'd say an hour, got, no, two or three, got the basic thing of it done, finished. And also, the mix was in a good spot. And I was like, holy shit. It's kind of a very brash song as my first song I've, completed after a big transitional period. It's a very very brash, in-your-face song. And it's very, everybody says that, people write from personal experience, and that influences your writing and all that stuff, And I've always known that, but it's really hit in a way that I hadn't seen before, for me personally. I listened to it, and it just sounds like every frustration, every anxiety, every shortcoming that I've had in the past 4 months, 6 months even, to the point where I went to my roommate. I was like, normally I just send him stuff. Or I haven't, taken him to a car to play him something in a long time. I did it for the first time in a long time. I was like, you have to hear this. You have to hear this. Played it, and then we were like, holy shit. It's very, I'm not trying to sound cocky or any of that shit. I'm just saying, I'm learning to love making things again. It's been a long time since I've done that. I think the last time I've really liked doing that was before I was in a relationship. And that sounds bad to say, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it in the sense of every day, I always went to my computer or I went to the guitar, something, and I was writing something every single day. Then that free time got taken away, naturally. I'm not complaining about that. That's just how it happened. And also, around the time that I got into a relationship was also around the time that I started to push my music. And it was the first time where I released stuff apart from SoundCloud, because I know so there was two reasons. One reason is my mom was like, you have until your birthday, my 19th birthday, my 20th birthday. You have until your 20th birthday to release something, because she found out I had hundreds of songs just sitting around. She was like, you have to your birthday or else. And I was like, what do you mean or else? And she was like, you're just going to have to find out. I'm like, okay. I'm not trying to get kicked out of my house. I'll fucking put something out, And then I ended up putting out 2 before my birthday. Being in the space of, okay, now I have to push this music, that was very scary to me. And then it was where whenever I put out my second release, I was obviously wanting to do it, but it was something I wasn't used to. I wasn't used to being like, hey, I have a released thing, go listen to it, and have to do it again. I was like, this is really, really weird. I've always been able to have time to do my writing. The time where I had to push it and the time where I couldn't give it the attention that I used to came at the same time. And it was really, really strange, really, really confusing. And also, I couldn't put in as much money because my money, I'm not saying all my money went into my relationship, but money went into my relationship, which I hadn't had yet, or I hadn't had before. As the relationship went longer and longer, that's just, not more money as in like a complaint, but just in a, stuff, you need to spend some money, you know what I'm saying? And I was trying to get the band to do bigger things, so that meant, with merch, that meant with tech for live shows, that meant with marketing, promotion, that kind of stuff. So it was a very, very strange thing. There was a long time where I was writing a lot still, but it wasn't anything I was really proud of. And it took like a year and a half for me to put something together where I was proud of it. And I hadn't really felt that before. I didn't really feel that with my first EP that I ever put out. With my second EP, I kind of felt it, but not really. Third one, I was like, oh my God, I'm really proud of this. And then I made like a little, filler EP kind of thing to put right before it. So really my third was my fourth, and we're getting convoluted. And I put that out, and I had never felt so proud of something. Shortly after is whenever I was no longer in a relationship. And then, there's this whole period of transition. And now I'm in a place where I'm looking at the next EP, and I'm like, just from this one, there was already a few songs where I was thinking about, Then this one song happened, and I went, oh no, I know what the fuck to do. This one thing tied it all together. Whenever it was kind of just scatterbrained, I'm like, maybe this, maybe that, maybe that. I was like, no, this is the thing that is putting this all together now. Okay, take that out, put this in, that kind of stuff. And I can already tell that now that I have the time, it's to flesh this thing out, which I guess I did before, but now it's like, really, I have all the time in the world. It's so almost intimidating, because I'm like, okay, now I can really, really go for it. Now the only thing stopping me is me, which I have a knack for doing. I have a knack for doing that, but I know I can't do that anymore. But I really want to, because I love being just potential. And I think everybody does. Or a lot of people, to a certain extent. Like, as a kid, you have the potential to be so much. You have the potential to do this. You have the potential to do that. Oh, they really excel in this. They don't really do too well in this, but this they're really good at. Wow, they could be this and that, And whenever you're like 18, 19, it's like, okay, you're still a kid. You could fuck around a little bit, But think about what you want to do. When you get to like 20, 21, it's like, okay, what's up? Where's your potential? What are you going to do? You have this potential. To be nothing but potential is to you have to make use of it, or else it's just wasted potential. I'm 22 now, so it's like, I keep on saying that shit, but I'm 22 now, and it's like, you've been doing this shit all your life. Now it's time to fucking do it. And you could have the excuse of, well, what about my relationship back then, which subconsciously I kind of had. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying it was a bad thing. That's just how it was. Now it's like, okay, you have no excuses now. Now maybe like financially you might have a couple excuses, but not really. You gotta put your fucking boots on and let's fucking get this shit going, you know? And that's a really scary thing. I mean, I've done all these things with my personal life so far in the past since this year started. But now it's like, okay, the one thing that you actually want to do. It's weirdly scary, like more scary than everything else, which is so bizarre to me, because who doesn't want to do what they want to do? Why is it so difficult for me to actually pull through with it? Maybe it's because I have to open up so much in order to do it the way that I want to. Maybe I don't feel as if I'm ready to do that. Maybe I know that I am, but the criticism and the backlash is what's scaring me, which is understandable, but tough shit. I fucking picked this, you know? It's a really weird thing. What I'm realizing more and more as I get older, if we're talking about art, the thing that you never say, but you might think, but you never say because, whoa, I'm not gonna say that. That's what you should say. Like, there's been my last EP that I put out, the one that I'm so proud of. There's things that I say in that where I'm like, I would not say this, and I would not want my mom hearing this. I would not want my friends to hear this. I don't want to see people I know when I'm performing it. I don't want to see their face whenever it's playing, because it's so, like, that's like personal shit, you know? Or just really in your face kind of thing, with, you know, like just really blunt with feelings. And I knew writing those songs, that's what would make it good. I didn't want to do it, but I did it anyway, knowing that, okay, that's going to be the thing. That's going to be, like, one song in particular off of that last EP is a very sexually charged song, right? And I could have got cute with it. I could have got like, ooh, like, what am I, like, innuendo, this kind of thing, this and that. But I was like, no, it has to be gross. Like, I have to think that when I'm singing this is gross. And whenever my friends are hearing it, they should think, ew, this is gross, because I know who the fuck is singing this. But I did it anyway, because the goal is, you know, I hope there's people that don't know me that hear it, you know? I don't want my fucking friends to listen to me talk about fucking sex, you know? Or saying about sex. It's funny, all of my friends, or people that are fans that I know semi-personally, will be like, I love, that one's my favorite one. I have to pretend it's not you, but that's my favorite one. And I'm like, holy shit, that's the, like, okay. Like, I have to, that's what it takes to really get through to someone, is this vulnerability that you don't really want to do. It takes this vulnerability that you just do not want to sit with, but you kind of have to. But not in a sense of, while you're writing or whatever, think, okay, you have to be vulnerable for the people. You have to be like that. That's stupid. More so, just don't think about it. Just stop thinking of it as if people are going to hear it, because they're not. Like no one's going to hear this shit. Like, it's in your computer right now. It's in your room, wherever. It's not leaving right now. It's just in your room. Just write it. There's not, you know, cameras on you everywhere. And those are always the moments when me personally, I'm the most sincere and when I really mean it. And that's whenever it means the most to me. And then that's when it always means the most to other people. I've noticed this is kind of like just a part 2 of the first video. Like, same setting, all this shit, yapping about my life, like life update, and then somehow it transitions into art is a beautiful thing. The bitch, I don't know. I'm fucking not narcissistic. I'm a yapper, and I like to yap about music, I guess. I'm gonna kind of try to take it back into me personally though, because I did want to mention just how I'm really right now having to learn how to be alone. Just because I've been very codependent. Not my whole life. Most of my life I've been not codependent. Then I got really codependent on friends. Then my relationship. And then whenever that ended, it was back to friends. But now, and this might be a little too personal, but whatever, fuck it. This is literally exactly what I was saying before. This is just a video on my phone. I don't even know if I'll put this out, but maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll connect, But it feels like friends are just starting to drift away now. Like there was this big part, where I really needed them. And most of them were there. And I'm so grateful. There were so many times where they were there for me to hear me crying, screaming, yelling bloody fucking murder. Not like malicious things, just like a fucking cartoon. Like, why? But they were there for me. And there's still some that are absolutely there still. When it comes to that, But ever since then, it's been this weird, like, as far as connecting with them on any other way, there's been some distance. And I don't like it. But it's happening. And I can't force it to stay the way it is. Because that's not fair to anybody. But to see that there's a shift in everybody, kind of makes me, whoa. It's not a shift in everybody. You just saw a light switch go off in real time. I'm literally just thinking out loud now. It's not a switch in everybody, it's a switch in myself. And it's really weird just now realizing that. Like literally 10 seconds ago on camera. Like fucking going, it's not everybody else. How is it that right after a big transition or loss in my life, after I go through the grieving period, everybody somehow is pulling away from me? There might be people who actually are. I'm sure there are. But everybody? Girly. Sounds a little delulu. But I've noticed I'm just having so much more time alone. And at first I was always like going to hang out with other people. And now when I do that, I've noticed with a lot more people, there's times where it's just like, I'd rather be alone right now. And it's not a diss on them. It's not a diss on how they are towards me, how I am towards them. It's just, there's this weird shift. And I just don't know how I feel about it entirely. I don't. That's kind of a weird thing to end on, but it's just I guess time will tell just how I feel about that with more of these and, just how I'm feeling. I don't know. It's a very strange time for me right now. This video is probably getting too long now, so I know people can only take so much of me a day. If you made it this far, thank you for being here and listening. I hope something resonated with somebody. I hope that my yapping on art that's really just regurgitating shit that I've heard from people I like stuck with somebody. Yeah.